Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Oh, baby. What is up, Buffalo fanatics? Z-Bot here with you live Monday night. It's the mother effing smoke break. And the gang might just be coming off their biggest win in some time. So good to have you in. I put the wrong music on. I gotta get the flow of the show in line here. What is up? Hope everybody had an amazing Christmas weekend. Merry Christmas to you all. Hope it was great. Hope Santa treated you well. And if he didn't treat you the best on Saturday, he treated you mighty fine on Sunday. I know he did to me. He brought us what we were all looking for, and that was a big old dub over the New England Patriots. First place in the AFC East, the top of our wish list, and we were all on the nice list. This year, folks, Bills take it in dominant fashion. What a win, what a win, what a win. What a way to end the holiday weekend. I'm so stoked. I am fired up for this one. Question of the day right here. How salty are these Patriots fans, though, coming in from Relic 187? I want to say hello to everybody in here, by the way, and once again, Merry Christmas. And I hope you enjoyed the weekend. It was great. It was great. But that is the question, and we'll start there. Relic 187 coming in. How salty are these Patriots fans, though? And let me tell you what, Relic and the rest of you there in the comment section, they are saltier than dollar store popcorn. I don't know if you've had dollar store popcorn, but I've had to go there before. I've had to do it. It ain't good, and it's salty, and you don't want it. You don't want to taste it. But in this instance, I'm eating it up all damn day. These Patriots fans are finally getting a little taste of what it's like to get smacked around by a team inside of your division for the first time in forever. And as you just saw, what I popped up there is the ultimate definition of how salty these Patriots fans are. And I am loving it. Found this video courtesy of my man, Greg Thompson from over at Cover One. It's a treat. It's a minute long. Sit back, relax, and bask in the best minute you will spend all day long. Here is a clip from WEEI. And this is a fan in Boston complaining about his Patriots after what the Bills had done to them yesterday afternoon. Please enjoy.
What? Listen, the Patriots, the rookie wall, there's no such thing as a rookie wall with this kid. He's got a rag arm. He couldn't throw.
Hold on, Let me start this over. Hold on. Enjoy. Oh, my God.
Are you serious with this? You think the Patriots need a new what?
Listen, the Patriots, the rookie wall, there's no such thing as a rookie wall with this kid. He's got a rag arm. He couldn't throw in that windstorm. The other guy threw the ball all over the park. And then yesterday proved it. Receivers, no receivers. Skill players, no skill receivers. The kid playing quarterback ain't our future. The future of the NFL is over in Buffalo.
Yes.
That guy, 6'4", 230, runs right by you, throws it 90 yards. And the other thing I want to say is Belichick hasn't won butt kiss without Tom Brady. So to be overinflated on this Bill Belichick, great defense, let's run the ball. Yeah, Bill Parcells did that back in the 80s. So is that where we're going here with this team? Come on, it's over. AFC goes through Buffalo for 20 years, not us.
Wow, Bobby, bringing the high heat.
Curtis would have loved that.
Oh my God, I just got goosebumps. I've watched it 300 times. Here's the best part again. Oh my God. This part right here, I could literally, if I could find a way to just have this implanted into my ear canal and play all day long, I would do it. Listen to this.
So is that where we're going here with this team? Come on, it's over. AFC goes through Buffalo for 20 years, not us. It's over.
Oh, folks, Buffalo, Bills Mafia, Buffalo fans. Did you think there'd come a day where a guy who says park the car, throwing the ball over the park, would ever call into a Boston radio show and say in all sincerity, behind nothing but pure anger, that the AFC runs through Buffalo for the next 20 years? Because that's what you just heard. And that's why I can't stop listening to it. I have a long drive down to New York to see my girlfriend after this for the holidays. I have saved all of the amazing radio content and podcast content for that drive because I am going to soak in it for 5-6 hours. I got WEEI downloaded, the post-game show from yesterday, the morning show from today. These guys, and we'll start here before we even get into the game, because this to me is just, it's a lot of the story. It's a big part of the story. As soon as New England went on a run there, and I understand, to me, they were the best team in the league for a couple months. I agree. I think they were. If not the league, the AFC. I don't, maybe they weren't as good as Green Bay or Tampa Bay, fine. But I think for a while, for a couple months, they were playing the best football in the AFC, perhaps the most consistent. But here was my problem. Okay, here was my problem after the Bills-Patriots game on Monday Night Football. Yes, the Bills should have been embarrassed. I told you that. I was fine with Jerry Sullivan asking the question. I was fine with it. But the reason they should have been embarrassed is because they never should have lost that game. They were the better team and everybody knew it. The Bills were the better team. And the only reason they lost that game is because they weren't built to play in a hurricane. Congratulations to Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. Your team is built to play in conditions that you might see once a year. Congratulations. And after that game, in a game where Mac Jones threw 3 touchdowns, the Bills squandered every opportunity they could have to win the game. They could have won the game despite not having a team built for those conditions. Listen, it happens. And yes, I agree. It was an embarrassing way to lose. If you lose to a team who throws 3 passes, you should be embarrassed. That's fine. But to watch the media hoist New England up as the second coming after that performance was a real head scratcher. And that's why I defended Sean McDermott when he said, let's not give credit where credit isn't due to Bill Belichick, or let's not give too much credit to Bill Belichick here, right? Because that was the God's honest truth. That wasn't a genius game plan by Bill Belichick. Everybody says Bill Belichick, genius. Where was the genius this past weekend when it wasn't a blizzard? Where was the genius last week against the Indianapolis Colts? Because they couldn't stop a nosebleed against the Colts, and they couldn't stop Josh Allen to save their life yesterday. So if he's a genius because he's got a team built to run the ball in a hurricane, then congrats, you're the next Isaac Newton. And I'll give him credit, and I did give him credit. I said, you took advantage of what you had and you used it to your potential. That's fantastic. They did. And the Bills do not have a run game to play in that type of weather, yet they still almost won the game. But the point here is that performance against the Bills on Monday Night Football in those conditions was an absolute outlier. Yesterday was not the outlier, because that is what you're going to see more consistently. Standard conditions, 2 teams going at it, and the team with the better talent, the better quarterback, and right now the overall better franchise is going to win the majority of the time. And that's what you saw yesterday. And with that said, my boy Rico coming in, I got to give him a ooh, baby. Because Yesterday is what you can get used to, I think, against these New England Patriots. Because when you have the better quarterback in the division, it's 9 out of 10 times you're winning it. And the Bills are going to win the division this year. And if you go back and look at that game on Monday Night Football, you cannot possibly tell me that New England proved they were the better team because they had more personnel built for a blizzard. It was an embarrassing loss, but it did not prove the Patriots were better. And after that game, nobody gave a shit about the Bills, and everybody lifted the Patriots up as the second coming. What we learned yesterday in standard football conditions, Mac Jones doesn't touch the talent of Josh Allen. He never will. And the Bills franchise at this given moment is a far better one than New England. Now, New England is still a great team. They're going to make the playoffs. And listen, I think that they have all the potential in the world. I'm never going to bet against Coach Belichick. I think Mac Jones was a great pickup, and I think he's got tremendous potential to fit that system. But to go back and say that he was the better quarterback than Josh Allen, that they outperformed the Bills dramatically on that Monday night game, we're talking about a one-off. Patty coming in here. Preach, brother. Patty, appreciate you very much for coming in with the super chat. Listen, I'm not here denouncing what the Patriots did against the Bills on Monday Night Football. It was legendary. Let's not forget it. They'll be talking about that for a long time. But what did it prove? Right? Because that's not what you're going to see. They were built better for that one particular night, and that's how football works. There's some nights that are different than others, and if you're built for that type of environment, then good for you. You had the advantage. But what we saw yesterday is what I think we can expect to see for the future, and that is the Bills have the far better quarterback. I think they have the better personnel. They have the better offense. It's not even close. And yes, New England's defense is good. Is it that much better than the Bills? And when you think about it, when the New England defense has to face against Josh Allen, it almost winds up evening things out, right? So when you really look at it on paper, you get the better quarterback, you get about as equally as good as a defense, you get the better offense, and you get a pretty damn good coaching staff. I'm never going to say a coaching staff is better than that of the New England Patriots, but you're getting a pretty damn good coaching staff. Right now, across the board, you're taking what the Bills have all day. And they proved yesterday in the biggest spot of the year that they are capable of doing what they have not been able to prove all season long, and that's win a big game. And I think we saw the tide turn at halftime of the Tampa Bay Bucs game. We have now gotten 2 games. That have felt like playoff games where the Buffalo Bills have come out and they have lived up to the hype in which we had set for them early on this season. That second half of the Bucs game, they could have got it done. And look, I understand they didn't. But in the playoffs, I'd be much more satisfied losing in overtime in a dogfight than I would losing a game like they did against the Colts. And the way I've seen them come together the last month or so, you'd like to think that the games against the Colts are out of the question. Are they? No. You can't completely rule them out. But I'm loving what I'm seeing out of this team recently. They are gathering around themselves. They seem motivated. Josh Allen especially, and we'll get into him in depth. Josh Allen especially. The defense is doing what they have to do for an offense in which the Bills have. I think the Bills defense have been overachieving all season long. I didn't think they had the greatest day by any means yesterday, but when you have a guy in Josh Allen, if he plays like we expect him to, which is what we saw yesterday, 21 points allowed is going to get it done almost every single time. Every single time. There were plenty of moments yesterday where I got incredibly frustrated with the Bills defense. But at the end of the day, when you step back, 21 points allowed, when you have Josh Allen, when you have that offense, you got to be okay with it. You absolutely have to be okay with it. Let's go into the comments for a second. I want your guys' reaction. I'm sure you guys were absolutely fired up, pumped up. You're already in a happy, jolly mood because of the holidays. I can't imagine how much further it took it for you guys on Sunday. I know it did for me. Let's head into the comments, see what everybody is saying here. Everybody keeps saying facts. Rico, what is Rico got to say over here? Rico says, attention, Matt Judon and a couple other players have been placed on the COVID list. Hope it doesn't affect the Bills. saw that, Rico, and yes, you really do hope so, because as we know, Matt Judon was a little close to our boy Josh Allen on Sunday, wasn't he? A little too close. Tripping that bullshit. I absolutely love it, though. You absolutely love it, because you get that, right? You get Matt Judon, trips Josh Allen, and then who's the guy who gets his legs absolutely buckled like they're made out of silly putty on that 4th and 2? Or what was it, 4th and 1? I don't even care. Matt Judon. And you got your boy Stephon Diggs telling everybody else to shut the front door. There was just so many elements to this game. Finally, right? I've been saying for weeks on this show how I was just hoping for some entertaining Bills football again, because that's what last year was. And this game was so damn fun to watch. I mean, it was so entertaining. What they put on a clinic, a show. I would have paid any amount of money to have watched what they put out there yesterday. It was just amazing. Amazing. Jason, sorry I took so long to get to your super chat, my brother. You're coming in saying, you can't tell me that if Diggs came up with that catch the first game and we are up, Mac Jones is trusted to win that game. Absolutely not, Jason. There was never a shred of a moment in that game on Monday Night Football where Mac Jones was going to be trusted to win that game. Couldn't have been trusted yesterday to win it, was he? No, he wasn't. He wasn't. And I think Mac Jones is getting a bad rep today. I personally do. I didn't think he had the worst game in the world. I really didn't. I thought he had a serviceable game for a rookie quarterback. But for the comparisons that he was getting, and we all know what I'm talking about, I won't even utter them, that's not what we saw. He had a serviceable day yesterday. He has been anointed as the second coming for weeks now. I think he's a perfect fit for New England. I truly do. I really do. And I think he's going to be a pain in our side for a while. I think that's going to wind up being the case. But he's no Josh Allen. He's no Tom Brady. Give me a break. Let that formulate into itself. He cannot be trusted to win a big game right now. There's no possible way you could say that to my face. And he would never have been trusted in that game. That's why yesterday, I got to be honest, the one thing I really wanted in that game, and it's funny, do the Bills not win every coin toss? It's insane to me. I can't remember the last time they've lost a coin toss. Besides the point. They win the coin toss yesterday. I wanted them to take the ball, because against this New England team, if you take the lead, the game is in your hands. And a lot of that has to do with Mac Jones being the quarterback. When you take the lead, you take away the ability for them to run the ball the way that they want to. You put the ball into Mac Jones' hands. That is not what Belichick wants. It worked out in their favor, of course. They stop them 3 and out. That was an amazing opening possession for the Bills D. It was 3 straight plays where they were on Mac Jones like mac on cheese. And they got the ball back, went right down, and it was just a gorgeous opening. It was a gorgeous way to open up that game. So it worked out. But what we learned about these New England Patriots, they're as good as you allow them to be. And what I mean by that is, if you can find a way to get the lead, they are nothing special. They are nothing special. If you can take the lead against this Patriots team, you're in good shape. You're truly in good shape. And that's what the Bills did yesterday. I mean, they didn't have a chance. They just could not do it on that Monday night game. That Monday night game, everything that could have went right for New England based on the way that they play football went right. And sometimes that happens. But yesterday, it was in New England. That game was as big of a game for New England as it was for Buffalo, perhaps even bigger when you factor in the downfall from last year, the no Brady. That would have been a massive victory for New England to get them back, at least to where they thought they were a few years ago. That would have been huge. And I mean, just all the factors that went into that game that the Bills pulled off against a team that had been their kryptonite for 20 years. I mean, that's what made it so impressive. For starters, they never punted the damn ball. And that in itself is impressive. But then you come to find out that has never happened against a Bill Belichick coach team. Ever. I mean, think about how insane that is. Bill Belichick is 175 years old. Nobody's ever not punted against him. Ever. And that happened. I mean, it was that. It was the fact that solidifying that victory now locks the Patriots in for their first guaranteed losing season at home, I think since 2000, 2002, something insane like that. It's the first time in what I heard, and I got to fact check this, but this is what I heard. It's the first time that a team has beaten New England in back-to-back seasons in nearly 30 years. And on top of that, it might not, pause. Got the quote wrong. It's the first time that a team is going to win the AFC East potentially in back-to-back years without it being the New England Patriots. Think about how insane that is. Think about how nuts that is. That is how much the New England Patriots have ran this division. First time in nearly 30 years that a team is going to have an opportunity to win the division in succession without it actually being the New England Patriots. It's amazing. It is amazing. And then back to the original quote I had, I think that it's the first time in a very long time that a team has beaten New England at home in back-to-back seasons. I forget the exact amount of years. But regardless, there are just so many things. There are so many things that went into that game. And that's even besides the point that the game was the biggest of the year. We realized yesterday, that no matter what the Bills have done this season, ups or downs, that game yesterday, folks, was a playoff game. That game yesterday, folks, was a playoff game. And the Bills put together their best game of the year. So what does that tell you? That gives me an unbelievable amount of confidence heading into the playoffs. Because when it mattered the most, the team put together their best game of the year. Not close. Bada Bing Crosby coming in. I love when you guys back me up. Thanks so much. Bada Bing coming in saying, and a bunch of you are saying it, by the way. Frank, Richie Rush, Joseph, appreciate all you guys for fact checking this. 05 Colts, last team to beat them back-to-back in New England. So there you go. I mean, just another unbelievable stat. So we've got 16 years. 16 years since that happened. I mean, it's just the Bills pulled off like 4 or 5 things yesterday that haven't happened in a decade plus. You absolutely love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Oh, man, I'm fired up. Jason Miller, my man, coming in again. Appreciate you, my brother. How'd you feel about the amount of times we went for it on 4th down? Failed once in the red zone, but I was all good with the faith McDermott had. Thank you, Jason. Love when you guys give me segues. It's my favorite because a couple weeks ago when I went on my referee rant that I'm sure you guys all loved, that was because one of you guys gave me the perfect segue in the comments. So I appreciate you guys doing that. Listen, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Brandon Staley, what was it, 2 weeks ago in the Chiefs game, Chiefs-Chargers. He went for it on 4th down, what was it, 5 times, didn't get a single one. I absolutely loved it. And the reason I loved it is because he has the offense to do it. He has the quarterback to do it. And not only that, but he has the trust in his offense to get it done. And I have told you guys on here for the longest time, if it's going to come down to a play that you absolutely need, do or die, I want the ball in Josh Allen's hands 99% of the time. There are circumstances where I understand it. For instance, kicking the field goal against the Tampa Bay Bucks and taking it to overtime. I told you I was in favor of that, and I was, simply because the last time that they tried it against the Titans, McDermott got blown up for it. They lost the game. Anyways, I was fine with it. In this particular game, look, this is a playoff game. You have got to go for broke. In a playoff game, you understand if you don't wind up getting those points and getting those 4th downs, your ass is heading home. And in this game, if you don't win it, the odds of you making the playoffs fall dramatically, and you're not winning the AFC East. McDermott, this was probably his best coached game of the year. And it's not just because they executed those plays. I want that to be made perfectly clear. I want that to be made absolutely perfectly clear. Because it's very easy to give credit to McDermott and the team and the coaching decisions when you execute those fourth downs. It's incredibly easy, right? But back to the point I made about Brandon Staley, I was fine with it, and it was the right choice because when you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, when you're playing a team that is going to give you everything they got and you know it's going to be a close game, you have got to take chances, especially when you have the offense to do it, you have the weapons to get it done, and you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I think Brandon Staley and Sean McDermott can both fit into those categories. With that said, I absolutely loved going for it on fourth as much as they did. I hope they continue to do so. There's not a quarterback in the league that I would trust more in a fourth and short situation to give every single ounce of his effort to get that damn first down. I mean, that first down on that scramble on the outside looked dead in the water. And there are 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. I think you witnessed the one quarterback who gets the first down on that play. Maybe Kyler Murray. And I don't know, man. I don't even know if Mahomes gets that play done. An unbelievable run. I mean, that's a highlight that goes right up there to me with the QB sneak against the Dallas Cowboys and the hurdle against the Vikings. I mean, to me, that was just legendary. Exactly. Bada Bing Crosby comes in here and saying legendary. It was legendary. I mean, you're talking about a 6'5" guy who weighs as much as a fridge, and he's rounding the corner, and he makes two defensive ends miss so poorly that they wind up tackling each other. I mean, guys, and that was in a do or die play. Do you understand what happens if the Bills do not get that fourth down? The odds of them losing skyrocket. It was 26-21. And also in that situation, of course you go for it. It was like a 53-yard field goal. And look, I'm a massive, massive fan of Tyler Bass. And if you're not, I don't know what you've been watching. But I would much rather take Josh Allen in a fourth and short than I would with a 54-yard field goal to not even make the game out of reach. Because think about it like this. If Tyler Bass does kick the field goal, it's 29-21. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion still sends that game to overtime. Sean McDermott was there to win, and they got it done. He had the trust, as he should. Look, it's not going to work every time. So the next time they do it and it doesn't work, remember this segment, remember this conversation, and remember that they have the team to do it. It's not going to work every time. It worked yesterday, and that's why everybody's ecstatic about it. But not many were ecstatic about it when it didn't work against Tennessee. It happens, but I love it. And I hope they continue to do it. Pave Dave coming in. That 4th and 2 on your own 30 with 7 minutes left while you're winning 26-21 is balls to the walls. Turnover on downs gives Patriots the ball on your 30, bro. That was insane. I mean, exactly what I just said. Pave Dave, you got it exactly right. I mean, the way that game could have flipped on its head within 2 seconds if that play doesn't go the way it does. And I'm telling you right now, you witnessed one of maybe 2 quarterbacks in the league who could have got that done. When you watch him round the corner on the left side of the line, there are 2 players. I believe one of them is Judon. There are players waiting for him with the leverage. Do yourself a favor this morning on Get Up. Dan Orlovsky, he's an incredible film an analyst, and he does a great job breaking stuff down. He broke down that play, and it's a beauty. You go do yourself a favor and watch it when we're done here. Just go on Get Up, Dan Orlovsky, Josh Allen. It'll be there. It's awesome. But what he points out is the fact that as he's rounding that edge, I mean, there are players waiting for him with the leverage, and there's nobody in the league, perhaps other than Josh Allen, who's going to be able to get that play done without the leverage. I mean, it was insanity the way he was able to get across that line. And not only was he able to get across the line, but the finesse, the ability to make 2 players miss. And we're talking about professional athletes and 2 good ones at that. If you're starting on the New England defense, you're a damn good football player. I'm here to tell you. And he made them look like fools in probably the biggest play of the game. Unbelievable. Matt Montgomery coming in. Miami up 7-0. Look at, man. Here's something, too, that I want everybody to just realize in regards to how big yesterday's win is. Do you realize, and this is sickening, do you realize if the Bills would have lost yesterday and if New England or if Miami wins tonight, they would have had the same record? Yeah. Sickening. So it's just one more reason to be, stoked about yesterday. All right, we're hitting the half-hour mark. You always know what that means. As we approach that time of the day, I like to let you in on a cool little message from my friends over at NordVPN.
Are you out of market, but the NFL Sunday ticket is just too expensive? Hey, this is Pierre the Kingpin from the Buffalo Fanatics, and do we have a deal for you? Watching all NFL games live while having the ability to watch the replay whenever you'd like is what makes the NFL Sunday ticket so popular. The issue is the pricing is just outrageous. Getting DAZN along with NordVPN will cut that price in half. Here are the details. Go to supportbf.com and sign up for DAZN. Then go back and sign up for NordVPN. Once done, just switch your VPN to Canada, then sign into DAZN. Now sit back and enjoy some football. It's the Kingpin, and I'm out.
The BFVPN.com. Head over there right now. I'm reading the comments here. Is this facts? Is this facts, Adam? If the Dolphins win out, they make the playoffs and New England bounces out. Is that true, everyone? Because I've honestly been so enthralled with just the Bills and everything to do with that situation that I haven't even realized that truth be told, it's not like I pay attention to Miami that often, but the fact I feel like I have blinked. I feel like I have literally blinked and here they are. And they'll have a winning record tonight if they win. That's insane. So, yes, it's true. That is insane. So, all Miami has to do is win out. That would include beating New England, though. So, that would include beating New England. But if they win out and New England loses to Miami, they're in. That is insane. Wow. So, would that mean the Bills, trying to think then, so Miami would be the 7 seed, right? They'd be the 7 seed. Whatever. Either way, that's insane. The way they started the year, they were on pace to look like the Jets, Jags, Houston. Speaking of which, Houston, holy crap. Yesterday, my God. That was insane. And just another example, another perfect example, when you go back to the Bills losing to Jacksonville and whatever. They lost 9-6 and they could have won that game 1,000 times. The Houston Texans beat the shit out of the LA Chargers yesterday. It's just this league, man. This league, this year, I don't even know what to tell you. It's just crazy. It's just really crazy. To add to the insanity of the craziness, the Dolphins, man. All right, so let's talk about our boy Josh Allen because, folks, that right there is why you pay the kid $250 million, $258 million, whatever the hell it is. It's why you pay him a king's ransom. Yesterday, I told you last week, this is the moment that Josh Allen has to prove that the contract he got was well spent. This right here, that moment yesterday, that's what you're paying the big bucks for. You got a game against a division rival that has owned you for years. Win and you leap them. You take control. You are the quarterback expected to win that game. You're facing a rookie quarterback. And he just goes out there and perhaps has his greatest day as a pro, if not one of them. Unbelievable performance yesterday from Josh Allen. Lights out, and it should have been a hell of a lot better. If that ball to Jake Kumaro on a fade, which was wide open, was what? 2 yards shorter, another touchdown. If Emmanuel Sanders didn't have a case of the dropsies in the back right corner, another touchdown. He was balling out. And he made some plays yesterday that I'm just like, guys, do you know how lucky we are to have that on our team? Go turn on right now. Go turn on that Monday night game. And if you want to see what just not good football looks like, boring ass, untalented, just non-electric football that you would not want to have on your side. You would not want to pay for a ticket. You would not want to root for. That is what that is. And there are very few teams in this league right now who have got what we've got. And I'm talking maybe three. I think Kyler Murray's special. I think his talent's on another level. Then, of course, Mahomes. And then the other guys are aging out. Rodgers is aging out, of course. Brady's aging out. I mean, guys, we're talking about like 101 here, really. I mean, maybe 1 of 2, 3 at the most. It's unbelievable. The plays yesterday, I mean, even after that throw I was just talking about, the Kumaro where you miss, it's Logan, this is funny. I forgot about this quote. How many times we got, and when he loses his voice, dude, he's like, how many times we got to score? Oh, that's a good one, Logan. Appreciate you bringing that back up. But literally, you can score 1,000,000 times, J.A. I'm cool with it. But anyway, even after that toss to Kumaro, that was just, it was not good. I mean, it was so wide open, and you're like, yeah, God, it really pissed me off. But I'm not shitting you. The next play, he scrambles to the right. He's got 3 guys in his face. He's fading out of bounds. And off his back foot, he throws back to the middle of the field. Dime. And it's just like, and it's just, I don't know. That's why I swear to God, there was like, after like the 4th or 5th play he made yesterday, that was just out of this world. I literally tweeted out, I go, I don't know anymore. I don't know. Go Bills. I don't know. IDK, go Bills. Because with this dude, man, I don't know. It's insane. I can't describe it. I mean, you're talking runs where he looks like Barry Sanders. You're talking shovel passes where he looks like what Mahomes would have on a reel on ESPN until your eyes bled because it was the greatest thing they've ever seen. He did it twice yesterday. You got the pitch to Diggs. And also, do you realize how big of a play that was, by the way? That's going under the radar. That was 3rd and 10. Huge, massive play. And then on the same drive, just afflicted to Knox. I'm plugging the hell out of Dan Orlovsky here, but I don't care because he's great. And I think he does an amazing job breaking plays down. In the same clip where he breaks down the Allen run that I was telling you about, he also breaks down the shovel pass to Dawson Knox. Check that out as well. It's phenomenal because there's little things that he shows you that you can't quite, you wouldn't see otherwise. But when he goes in to make that play, essentially what Orlovsky's telling you is it's really only Allen and maybe a couple others in the league who can do that because you have to respect Allen's running ability so much that it's either you just let him run in or you pursue him, and that, of course, leaves Dawson Knox wide open. You're talking about a guy on our team right now that is just, it's almost indefensible. And if you're playing in conditions that are not a hurricane, and even so, I thought he had a decent day for what they allowed him to do. When you're talking about pretty standard conditions, and if you're, I can't, yesterday was amazing. Yesterday was amazing on so many levels. I'm so happy for Josh Allen, and I'm so happy for this team because I think the way that they went out there yesterday was exactly what I wanted to see out of them. Go and prove that this is still your division. And they really could have faltered yesterday. I mean, they really could have. They really could have proved what they have proved at certain times throughout this year, and that's, we weren't good enough for the challenge, and that was far from it yesterday. Far from it. But Josh Allen in particular, what more can you say? What more can you say? That was an MVP performance. And look, I don't know who's going to win the MVP this year because I don't know if there's truly a front runner. I thought it was Brady, and then he got blanked by the who was it? The Saints? I think it was the Saints the other day. Yeah, they got blanked by the Saints. And you have Rodgers, who I think is probably I don't know. I think as of right now, he's got as good a chance as anybody. I don't think he wins it, but I think he's got as good a chance as anybody. And I truly think Jonathan Taylor is the MVP. I think you got to give it to him. I think he's been just tremendous. And I think that in a year where there really isn't a solidified quarterback to win the MVP, I think it's a year where you give it to a position player. And I think that Jonathan Taylor deserves it. I also see, who said it in here? Somebody said Cooper Kupp. And I mean, yeah, Cooper Kupp's having an insane year. But I think right now, Jonathan Taylor, I mean, he's the best back in the league, and he has single-handedly elevated the Indianapolis Colts to what I think might be the best team in the AFC right now. That brings me to where we're at right now, and that's the Bills having to face off against the Colts first round. I don't like it. I don't like it personally, and that's why the Bills need to win this division, because I do not want to face the Colts right now in the first round. I don't. Kudos to you if you want to face that team, but I just don't. I don't think the Bills are built to beat a team like the Colts, and what we saw out of the sample size in which we had already gotten with them earlier in this year, you saw why. They cannot defend that run game. They can't. And the Colts have a really good defense, and they are humming recently. I mean, they are balling out, this Colts team. Right now, this Colts team, it's as good as it gets in this league right now. And before the league started, I thought with the addition of Wentz, I truly thought that the Colts were going to be right there gunning for the 1 seed. They had a really rough start to the year, but my God, have they got it in gear. And right now, I just think right now that they're probably the team to beat in the AFC outside of the Chiefs. The Chiefs right now are back to Chiefs form. The Chiefs are back to Chiefs form. They're terrific right now. Absolutely terrific. But I got to be honest. I like the Bills' chances against the Chiefs right now more than I do against the Colts, simply because I don't think the Bills are built to beat the Colts. They're built to go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs are a far different team than who we saw when we beat them months ago. They are. They're way better. But I think if you get a version of the Bills like we saw on Sunday, like we saw in the second half against the Bucs, I'm fine playing against the Chiefs. Win or lose, I'd be fine getting to that point of the bracket. But of course, the Bills will not be playing them in the wild card round because, one, the Chiefs are probably going to be the 1 seed, and 2, if they weren't, the Bills are probably going to be the 4 seed. So we won't be seeing that scenario. But if the Bills wind up winning their wild card game and moving on, I don't mind seeing the Chiefs. I wouldn't love it, but I think the Bills have been built to compete with them. Right now, do not love what I see between the Colts and the Bills as far as a matchup is concerned. And that today, right now, if the season ended, that would be the matchup. But if you look across so we'll talk about the playoff seeding right now. And, if you look at it, you have to wonder, like, outside of the Chiefs, and somebody made a good point yesterday, and I forget exactly who it was, but somebody made a good point yesterday where it was like, yeah, the Colts run game is terrific, but when is not having a viable, elite pass game going to catch up with them in the playoffs? And it's the truth. I mean, that's a really good point. Who knows? But I think that would be an Achilles heel for the Bills having to face that run game. But anyway, right now you got the Chiefs at 1, Titans in the 2 spot. The Bengals, surprising, but I mean, once again, Joe Burrow yesterday looking like a Hall of Famer. I mean, 4th quarterback to ever put up 520 plus. An amazing performance. They're the 3 seed. Then, of course, the Bills at 4. Colts right there at 5. New England is now 6. And then the Ravens are barely in at 7. But when you look at the outside peeking inward, I mean, it's amazing how every single team is within a game of that 7 spot. You got the Ravens at 8-7, but then the Chargers are also 8-7. The Raiders are 8-7. If the Dolphins win tonight, they'll be 8-7. Then you got the Steelers 7-1, Browns 7-8, Broncos 7-8. It's amazing. The race right now in the AFC is wild. But I look across the gamut here, and I'm fine playing the Titans at some point without Derrick Henry. I'm fine with that. I think the Bengals would be a tough matchup. I think they'd be a tough matchup for anyone, but I truly like the Bills in that spot. I like the Bills against the Patriots again. I really do. I think what we saw yesterday is what you could expect to see again. I think that's what it would be. And I like the Bills against the Ravens any day of the week. Anytime that they've gone against them, the Bills have been coached tremendously well. and they usually find a way to shut down Lamar Jackson. So there you go, folks. I mean, out of all those teams, I'm fine with playing literally anybody right now but the Indianapolis Colts. And you can say to me, look at, hey, you're being a pansy or you whatever, you don't want to play. Fine, call me that. I don't care. But you want to play those guys after what they did to us early on and what they're doing recently? God bless you. I want to win playoff games. And a lot of the playoffs has to do with the where you're seated. I mean, there's luck to a lot of this shit. You all know that. There's a lot of luck to this game. There's a lot of luck to this game. And part of that is, how your schedule pans out. What division are you in? Where you fell in the draft? I mean, think about it. There's a million different reasons. And another gigantic reason, what seed do you wind up with in the playoffs? And I think right now, if you're looking at it, the worst team you could possibly face for the Bills is the Colts, and that's who they're facing. So you hope things pan out in a different manner. But we're 45 minutes in, and I can't believe I haven't gotten to this yet, but we've had so much to talk to. And Brian says, why are we hyping up Orlovsky in here? Great breakdowns, Brian. If you haven't seen them, go watch the breakdown of Orlovsky talking about Allen's performance yesterday. It was really good. I cannot believe it's taken me this long to get to this. Folks, Isaiah McKenzie yesterday, I don't even... That was one of the greatest performances I have seen out of a position player for the Bills in literally forever, let alone a guy who has been benched for weeks, who has not been given a proper role on this team really ever. And I have been screaming from the mountaintop for the longest time that Isaiah McKenzie and his athleticism needs to be utilized by this team far more frequently than it is. And he showed you yesterday what he's capable of in a spot where no one trusted him. And you know this because he was only in that role due to the COVID outbreak in the Bills wide receiver room. He had been benched for weeks, healthy scratch. This dude steps up in the biggest game of the year and has the best performance a wide receiver has had for the Bills all season long. That dude deserves every bit of credit that he earned yesterday, and he deserves more of a role on this team. Every time he has been given a chance, he seems to take care of it. I understand he muffed a couple punts. Okay, fine. It's got nothing to do with what he's able to offer you on the offensive side of the ball. I hate that you muffed a punt, you sit home for 2 weeks. Bullshit. I hate that. The person on your roster who can help win you games should be on the damn field. Isaiah McKenzie can help you win games. You saw it yesterday. What is that game yesterday? If Isaiah McKenzie's not on the field? What is it? I think it's a different game. Bryant's coming and saying he literally fumbled a kick without being touched. I get it. Yeah, it was a shit play, Bryant. It was a shit play. Are players not allowed to have a shit play? He did not deserve to be benched for the extent that he was benched because he fumbled a ball in a game that they were going to lose anyways. I'm sorry. They were getting their ass kicked that game. Isaiah McKenzie's fumble in that game was just another feather in the cap. All right? And that game was over. Fumbled the ball 1,000 times in that game for all I gave a shit. That game was over. I'm a big Isaiah McKenzie fan. I love him. And I just think yesterday was a perfect example of why this guy should be involved in the offense more. Not because of just the unbelievable performance that he had, but because of the capability. You can see the capability. No, Isaiah McKenzie's not going to have that performance week in and week out. We know this, but he's capable. And if I got a guy who can deliver that, and he's like my sixth option, I mean, give me a break. Get him involved. It's the same thing I said last week with Gabe Davis. Every time you give Gabe Davis an opportunity, he takes advantage of it. I'm absolutely in love with the talent that this team has because it is so unsung. Everybody wants to talk about Cole Beasley. Everybody wants to talk about Stephon Diggs. Of course, I understand why, of course. But the Bills have key players on this team that can be a big, big factor if they're given the opportunity. Isaiah McKenzie showed you that yesterday. Jason Miller coming in. Not only is it in Josh we trust, but we trust who Josh trusts. He had a lot of trust in Lil Dirty, and it showed. He did. And listen. I tweeted this out yesterday, and look, I don't have a gripe with Charles Davis. I just thought Charles Davis yesterday was not doing the greatest job in the booth. Sorry, everybody was on me. You don't know color commentating. I color commentated a million times. I'm obsessed with commentators. It's my favorite thing. I understand you have a different opinion. I just thought yesterday, I just thought Charles Davis said some things that didn't make any sense. It's not that I was dissing him as a color commentator. He's a very talented guy. I just thought it was a little all over the place. It just seemed like he didn't really know the Bills, because it's a great point that Jeff just made, that Jason just brought up. Jason says that throughout the telecast, they were saying that Allen said he had trust. And Charles Davis flat out said that we weren't sure if we believed him or not. Well, you don't know Josh Allen. Josh Allen's just not going to say that shit. And these guys do trust each other. 1,000,000%. What's there not to trust about Isaiah McKenzie? Josh Allen has had Isaiah McKenzie's back. Did you hear what he said yesterday? And he understands. Josh Allen said yesterday, I get it. He had his fumble. He had his struggles. But Isaiah McKenzie, I mean, if there was ever a moment where you saw the wrongs written, it was right there. And if you ever saw a redemption from literally being benched to going out and single-handedly helping your team get over the hump, just amazing. And I thought Josh Allen 1,000,000% had the trust in him. You don't not trust a guy if you're targeting him 12 times. And the dude caught 11 of them. Give me a break. And I got to tell you, like tip of the cap, like legitimately, I was just so in awe. Yesterday with Isaiah McKenzie. And Jason Suggs coming in saying, Tony Romo is the only guy who understands it. Yeah, Tony Romo really is the only guy who I watch in the booth a lot of the time who you can genuinely tell knows the pulse of every team. Troy Aikman, nope. And I will say, Collinsworth, I think, does. I know you guys all hate him. I like Chris Collinsworth a lot. I think he's really good. I don't think he's very fair to Josh Allen. He's definitely got a man crush on Patrick Mahomes. I get it. But we have plenty of guys in our corner that have man crushes on Josh Allen. If you don't know it, Chris Sims, I don't think there's anybody in the world more in love with Josh Allen than Chris Sims. And listen to Chris Sims talk about Josh Allen when you get the chance. It's fantastic. I know Chris Sims wasn't the greatest quarterback in the world, and neither was Dan Orlovsky, but they are terrific at breaking down quarterbacks. Two guys right there who think Josh Allen is about as good as it gets. It's amazing. So, not everybody's going to be the guy all over it. But, you watch yesterday, and this is another thing that pissed me off. I was watching NFL Network today. And I tweeted this out yesterday, and I kind of said it, I said it with a little apprehension because I think things have gotten a lot better in this department. I think that, when you're talking about the media respect, I've told you this before on here. I think the Bills get a lot of media respect. Oh, and Brian, no doubt. Colin's my main boy. Colin loves Josh Allen. It's my favorite too because I've been a daily listener of Colin Cowherd since I was a kid. I mean, every single day I listen to Cowherd. And no spoilers today. I know he talks a lot about the Bills today. I got it saved for my drive. I'm very excited because I get all like kid like because Cowherd's national. It's big, and when he dedicates the whole segment to the Bills, I love that. But what you want Cowherd on your side because if you're not on Cowherd's side, he just loves shredding you up and down. It's hilarious. What the hell was I talking about? Honest to God, I don't even know what the hell I was talking about. I got off on my Colin. Somebody, for the love of God, tell me what the hell I was talking about. Was I talking about Collins or I don't even know. Josh Allen. I swear to God, I just had the worst. I just had the worst brain fart ever. I'm seeing some love in here for Joe Buck, though, and I'm loving that, by the way. I'm a massive Joe Buck guy. Huge Joe Buck. Everybody always gives me crap. Why do you like Joe Buck? I go, do you understand how hard this job is and how good he is at it? One night he'll be doing the World Series. The next night he'll be doing football. The next night he'll be doing the World Series. The next night he'll be doing football. You know how insanely hard that is? Dude's the GOAT. GOAT. Were we talking about commentators? I guess we were. I don't know. Oh, yeah. No. Yes. Thank you. We were talking about, I got it back now. You guys got me back on track. Brain freeze, brain fart. Yeah, no, legitimate. I had a real fart, so there's no losses, only learning. Okay, no, so I was watching NFL Network today. And I tweeted this out yesterday. I said, Josh Allen made probably 4 Mahomesian plays today that everybody will just immediately say are Mahomes type plays. And I'm watching NFL Network today, and there was you know how they do montages of highlights and they'll play like radio bits over it. They were doing montages of highlights, and there was one where Josh Allen had one of his push shovel passes, and the audio played over it was Josh Allen doing his best Mahomes impression. And I'm like, there it is. I go, there it is. I tweeted it with a little apprehension because back to what I was saying before I had my brain fart. What I was saying was I think the Bills have gotten plenty of media love over the last couple of years as they have begun to deserve it. They never deserved it before. As they got better, I think that they got enough. I think people who bitch about the lack of love the Bills get for in the media, I don't think there's an argument there. I think that they get plenty. But what I don't like is every time Josh Allen does something that is what Josh Allen can do, it's immediately parlayed into, well, that's what Mahomes does. No, but it's what Josh Allen does. See, that's the thing. And it's not like, Josh Allen grew up watching Patrick Mahomes. These guys came into the league within a year of each other. So they're both good at doing weird shit that nobody else can do. But give Josh Allen the credit. He's not mimicking Patrick Mahomes. He's not taking one out of Mahomes' book. That is Josh Allen, okay? And yesterday, he had the off-the-foot throw, 2 shovel passes, a run. I mean, in all honesty, if you take the sample size of what Josh Allen did yesterday and include the run game, no, it's not doing his best Mahomes impression. It's doing his best Allen impression. I don't think Mahomes pulls that off. I don't think he pulls off that run that Allen had. I don't. So I just wanted to get that off my chest because that shit pisses me off. Like, that really pisses me off because – and this is what happens too. Like when you get less credit for something that you have earned because somebody else did it before you, it's ridiculous. And that's why Josh Allen might not be a Pro Bowler this year, because it's a popularity contest. And the first person you're going to think of when it comes to making those plays is Mahomes. It's not Josh Allen. That's unfortunate. And that's a whole other thing, by the way. And I'm not going to get into it because I tweeted this out and it got some, there was some controversy around it. People saying that, that they do care or whatever. I don't think they do. Yeah, I don't think Josh Allen gives 2 shits about being a Pro Bowler. What I do think is he sees not being a Pro Bowler and he says, bet. He goes, facts, word. I'm going to go out there and show you how stupid you all are. But at the end of the day, I don't think he gives a rip that he's not on the Pro Bowl roster. He doesn't care. The only thing that he cares about is the fact that nobody thought he was worthy of being on that, so I'm going to go out and show you how dumb you are. I don't think he actually cares about the fact that his legacy will be missing a 2021 Pro Bowl mark on it. I don't think Josh Allen cares. The guy is an underdog. He has been his whole life. And the fact that he's, maybe, I don't know. I haven't checked today. It's got to be second or third in the MVP race. He's been there all year. The dude's a Pro Bowler. Everybody knows it. There's a reason why he didn't become a Pro Bowler. And the first thing you saw online was snub. It's because that was the truth. He was snubbed. Everybody knows it. And you want to know what I think about all that? Who the hell cares? Thank you, Jason. $258 million. Who cares about a Pro Bowl? If I went home, got a beautiful girlfriend, I got a lovely little puppy, I got $250 million in the bank, I might be one of the best players in the entire sport. My team is on their way to win the division. We're worrying about much bigger things than a stupid Pro Bowl that nobody watches. Yeah, you know what? I don't give a shit. I don't give a damn shit about the Pro Bowl. And I'm telling you, that's how they feel. Now, if he would have made it, sure, it would have been cool, right? It would have been cool. I think that's how they all feel. But nobody's gunning for it. We all remember that legendary Tom Brady quote where, I don't remember the exact, verbiage, but it was, one of the teammates he was with was stoked about being named to the Pro Bowl. And Tom Brady's like, what are you talking about? Who cares? That's nothing. We got way bigger fish to fry here. And mind you, it's funny. It's so funny. The Pro Bowl, NFL is the best sport in all of the major sports. It's not even close. They're the most watched. It's the most well-run. It's the most entertaining. It's the most urgency. It's the best all the way around. The odd thing is they have the worst all-star game. The NBA all-star game, way better. NHL all-star game, way better. MLB all-star weekend, way better. I've always found that so weird. They could never figure out the Pro Bowl. Nobody cares about it. Nobody wants to play in it. Nobody watches it. I think it's because it's after the season. I think it also has to do with the fact that it's football. This is a good point, Matt. And this is what does suck about it. Pro Bowl only matters for Hall of Fame consideration. And it's the truth because there's a lot of times where you'll come down to putting people in the Hall of Fame. Well, you had 4 Pro Bowl. And it's but to me, and this is what I hate about a lot of this BS, including how people get elected into the Hall of Fame. That doesn't matter. You're voting on Twitter. What? Who gives a shit? You're voting on Twitter. For God's sakes. That shouldn't determine jack squat. And that's why I don't think Allen should care. It's why I certainly don't care. I already forgot about it. Jason Millard again. My man, you are on fire tonight. All Pro is way more meaningful than Pro Bowl. You're damn right, Jason. And Josh Allen's an All Pro, if you ask me, this year in the AFC. I mean, another thing, too. I saw somebody said to me earlier, they told me on Twitter that they didn't think Josh Allen was a number 3 quarterback in the AFC. Okay. Okay. Mahomes, Herbert, and I would like to see who you're taking long-term over that. I mean, really. I was told Burrow. I was told Lamar. I mean, yeah, they're both great players. Phenomenal. I'm not taking either of them long-term over Allen. I love what Burrow has to offer. I don't think he's got the athleticism that Josh Allen has. I don't think anybody does. And then Lamar, I mean, really rough year this year. Can't stay healthy, and when he's been in it, it hasn't been overly impressive. And the Baltimore Ravens are struggling pretty bad right now. I don't know. I don't understand why Allen, out of all the guys, it always has to be, he's got to be compared to somebody else when he does something good. And when he does something bad, it's all his fault. And it's awfully annoying. And it just seems like everybody in Buffalo is able to forget about that and put that to the side. But the rest of these idiots who don't watch the Bills, it's always either one way or the other. And I think it's just hilarious also today. What did you see? The Bills were the number 1 story today, weren't they? They were the number 1 story. And it's amazing how everything just flips like that. You got 3 weeks ago, after that Monday night game, Bill Belichick's a genius, and the Bills suck, and the division is the Patriots, and the Bills aren't going to come close to getting it back. And then 3 weeks later, the Bills roll them on the road, and then all of a sudden, the narrative's completely different the next day. It's crazy. It's crazy. But what it comes to now is the fact that the Bills control their own destiny for the AFC East, and that's exactly what we were hoping for, and that's exactly what we got. And we have 2 opportunities coming up here to get it done against 2 opponents that the Bills are going to be favored against and that the Bills are better than. Look, I think that Atlanta is no joke. I think that they're a sleeper team. With that said, if the Bills are going to prove that what we saw out of the second half of Tampa and what we saw out of a great dominant win over Carolina and what we saw against New England, if we're going to prove going into the playoffs here, the Bills are for real and they're really making their stride. You don't let Atlanta come close. And I like where the direction this team is heading in going into this weekend, and I have confidence. But I don't want anybody to overlook Atlanta. I think Atlanta is way better than what people give them credit for. And if they're not a good team, they're a sneaky team. They're just one of those teams where you just don't know what you're going to get out of them on a weekly basis. And they have some good weapons as well. So we'll see. And then after that, it's the Jets. But I like the direction right now. And I think when you come off of a win like you do against New England, there's no way that the Bills are going to allow themselves to ruin what they accomplished this past weekend by losing to the Falcons. They know what's at stake. They know they got to get it done. And damn it, I think they're going to do it. That's where I'm at. That's all I got for you today. I hope you guys had a terrific Christmas weekend, and I hope you enjoyed the living hell out of that Bills victory. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. This is the last smoke break of 2021, folks. Where did the year go? Next time I see you will be next Monday night following that Falcons game, and it will be the first show of 2022. Enjoy your New Year's, everyone. Happy Merry. Have a great New Year's weekend, and I will see you next Monday. And as always, go Bills.